It's possible for a man to avoid Satan. You can rebuke Satan. It's possible for a man to build a house outside the oppression of Satan, and Satan will never exist in his life. It's possible for a man to live, Satan will not come to him because of an edge he built. When man builds an edge, Satan doesn't relate with their thoughts. It doesn't touch them. So a man can function on earth outside the attack of Satan. But it is difficult for a human being to function on earth outside the attack and the manipulation of the enemies. Satan is not chronic, but the enemy is more chronic. Satan is chronic, but the enemy is more chronic than Satan. Satan can be designed, but it's difficult to identify enemy. Somebody is not hearing me. This. You can identify Satan in 1 second if you're a little bit spiritual in person. You can identify that this thing is the work of Satan and take a decision, and Satan will get out of your way. But child of God, no matter most of you are spiritual, no matter most of you are knowledgeable, no matter most of you are prayerful, it is tough for you to identify the work of an enemy immediately until the enemy would have finished his work. What most of you are suffering now is the finished work of the enemy, and yet you don't still know. When Satan starts to work in the life of men's side, you can identify it with little spiritual help. And if you want to desist from it, to stop Satan, it might not take you 5 minutes. But if enemy start his work in your life, you might still be spiritual, and the enemy will be operating. You will not understand that enemy is at work until the enemy perfect and leave you handicapped. A lot of Christians doesn't know who is Satan and who is enemy. Sometimes when they pray, they say, I rebuke you, Satan. It's not Satan. That is why they took 3 days fasting to rebuke Satan. And Satan said, you are accusing me for nothing. It's an enemy that is dealing with you. The Bible says when you rebuke Satan, he flees. Sir, it's possible for a man to live, function on earth, and Satan will be watching the man. He will not touch the man because the man built edge. But sir, it is not possible to build edge around enemy because enemy will be involved in that edge you build. If you are building edge or protection, one of the enemy will be among those that will help you to build it. So that after 5 years, you can still come into that thing to destroy it. That is where, if you must deal with an enemy, you need the help of God. Somebody is hearing me. Are you sure you are hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Am I helping you in this meeting?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Somebody say, Lord, help me to escape my enemy. You need grace, strong one. If you are building edge against Satan, Satan will leave you. Satan might not be able to understand how you build that edge. That's why some of us on earth can operate outside the mandate will of Satan. You know, I can talk to Satan here. You see, like I am. Satan is afraid of me. That's Satan. My name is Victor Great. He will take off. The only people that have power to fight me are enemies. It's the only enemy that has power to crack down my work, and I will rebuild it again. Satan can't touch me. Go to the house of Satan and say, Victor Grace said if he has power, he should come. There is an understanding in me that Satan can't conquer. I have grown above manipulation of Satan because of the edge of immortality around me. With deep understanding of who I am. Who I am is a conscience around my life. Who I am is a conscience around my destiny. Who I am is a guideline about my activity on earth. So understanding who I am help me to stay in the place of my age.
Job 1:9.
Job 1:9.
So Satan answered the Lord and said,
Satan answered the Lord and said,
does Job fear God for nothing?
does Job fear you for nothing?
Have you not made an edge
This
around
is
him?
Satan now. That means Satan could not touch Job. That means it's possible for you to live on earth and Satan will not touch you till you go. Unless God permits Satan. And if God permits Satan, it's just for a moment of time. Just to prove his faith around you. To increase who you are. Before men. But so, excuse me, enemy doesn't need permission from God to deal with anybody. Why you must be conscious of enemy? Enemy can deal with any man at any time of his life. Enemy can counter you at every stage of your life. Enemy can come at any seconds of your life and achieve what they want to achieve. But Satan is just for a moment. The work of Satan does not stay for eternity. It is a work of enemy that destroys the destiny, the future, the dream, and the career of men. So Satan is not as dangerous as an enemy. Satan is a spiritual being. Enemy is a human being, but very dangerous. God is never afraid of Satan, but God is afraid of enemy. God as a powerful being has never feared Satan all the days of his life. But the only poor man, the only thing God will fear on earth is human being. Enemy. Enemy is dangerous. They destroy the work and vision and the plan of God for men's life. Whatever God has designed, enemy can crack it down in 3 days. Enemy destroyed the temple of God. And God rebuilt it in 3 days. But Satan, he said, have you seen my servant Job? He was talking to Satan. I said, have you not made an edge
around him? Around his household.
Around his household.
And around all that he
Around
has.
all he has.
On every side.
On every side.
You have blessed the work of his hands.
Have you not blessed the works of his hands?
And his possession.
And his possession. Have you not increased his land? He said, I can't touch Job. Because I don't have access. Because the thought of Job is different. Job is not even reasoning me, so I can't come into him. Satan fights only one thing in a man's life. Where did I say Satan fight? Thought.
2 Corinthians 4 verse 4.
2 Corinthians 4 verse 4.
Whose minds?
Whose mind?
The God of this age.
Go back, please. Media, go there. Thank you. Whose mind the God of this age
has blinded.
Who
do not believe.
Who do not believe.
Lest the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ.
The gospel of the glory of Christ.
Who is the image of God.
Who is the image of God.
Should shine on them.
Should shine on them. Child of God, you hear me? Enemy is always with a man. Enemy is always in the activity of a man. Satan is not always with man, but enemy is in the daily activity of every man.